Okay, real talk. I had this thought at 2 a.m. last week. I'm staring at my electric bill, my rent, my student loan statement, and I'm thinking, and what if the government just printed more money? Like, enough for everyone. Pay off the national debt, give every American a check, cover healthcare, build roads, the whole thing. Why can't they just do that? And honestly, I felt a little embarrassed even thinking it. Like, I must be missing something super obvious. But here's what I found out. It's not a dumb question at all. In fact, it's one of the most important questions in economics. And the answer is going to genuinely surprise you. Stick with me for the next 8 minutes, because by the end, you're going to understand something that most Americans never learned in school. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me tell you a little story. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and there's a magic printer in your garage. This thing prints perfect, 100% real, untraceable $100 bills. Nobody knows you have it. Day one, you print $10,000. You pay off your credit card. You feel amazing. You go buy a new TV, take your family out to dinner. Life is good. Day two, you print $50,000. Pay off your car, buy new furniture, maybe grab a boat. Sure, why not? Day three, you print $1 million. You buy a house, you pay cash. The sellers are thrilled, but here's where it starts to get weird. Your neighbor hears you paid cash for a house. Then the guy down the street does the same thing. Word gets around. Suddenly, everyone in your zip code is flush with cash. So everybody goes to buy houses. But here's the thing. There are only so many houses. What do sellers do when everyone's got money and there's not enough houses? They raise the price. Your $1 million house is now worth $2 million. Then 3. Your new TV that cost $800? The store bumps it to $1,200 because people are paying whatever. Your magic printer just made itself worthless. Think of it like pizza slices. If there are 8 slices and 8 people, everyone gets one. If you magically add 8 more people but still only have 8 slices, those slices just got twice as valuable. Money works the same way. Now here's the wild part. I just described a fairy tale with a magic printer, but the United States government has actually done something very close to this multiple times, and we're living through the aftermath right now. Let me show you exactly what happens, step by step, when a country prints unlimited money. And I promise it's way more interesting than anything they taught us in school. Okay, so the first thing that happens when you flood the economy with new money is inflation. And before you zone out, let me make this real. Inflation is when your dollar buys less than it used to. That's it. Simple. In 2019, a dozen eggs was about $1.30. By 2023, it hit nearly $5 in some states. That's inflation. Now, inflation happens naturally, usually about 2 to 3% a year. That's actually healthy. The Federal Reserve literally targets 2% inflation because a little bit keeps people spending instead of hoarding. But unlimited printing, that's not 2%. That's a fire hose aimed at a campfire. During COVID, the U.S. printed about $3.3 trillion in a matter of months. The inflation that followed hit a 40-year high of 9.1% in June 2022. Coincidence? Economists are still debating, but the timing is hard to ignore. Here's who inflation absolutely destroys. And this one hits close to home for a lot of families. Imagine your grandparents spent 40 years saving $200,000. That's their retirement, their safety net, their whole life's work. Now, print unlimited money. Prices double. That $200,000 now buys what $100,000 used to buy. Their savings just got cut in half, and nobody robbed them. The government's printer did it. This is why economists call inflation a hidden tax. You didn't lose money from your bank account, but you lost purchasing power, which is the actual point of money. It gets worse, like way worse. Okay, so inflation and savings erosion, bad, but if you keep printing, we're not even at the scary part yet. Let me show you what happens when a country goes all the way. This is where it gets genuinely wild, and this is 100% real history. Germany, 1923. After World War I, Germany owed massive war debts. Their solution? Print money. A lot of money. Within months, prices were doubling every few days. People were literally getting paid twice a day, morning and noon, so they could run out and buy food before the price went up again by dinner. A loaf of bread that cost 250 marks in January 1923 cost 200 billion marks by November 1923. People burned stacks of banknotes for heat because the paper was worth more as fuel than as money. Children made kites out of money. Wallpaper was made from cash. This is called hyperinflation, and it doesn't just hurt wallets, it collapses entire societies. The economic chaos of the 1920s in Germany directly contributed to the rise of one of history's worst dictators. That's how serious this gets. So, what did the US actually do? Now, the US isn't Germany in 1923, and that's because of one massive difference, the Federal Reserve. The Fed is basically America's economic referee. They can raise interest rates to slow down spending and cool inflation. They can pull money back out of the system. They have actual tools that most countries don't. But here's what happened during COVID that made economists nervous. Between 2020 and 2022, the US printed roughly 40% of all dollars that have ever existed. Let that sink in. 40 40% of all dollars ever created in 2 years. The Fed called it quantitative easing, regular people called it stimulus checks, PPP loans, and expanded unemployment benefits. Was it necessary? Probably. The economy was in free fall, but was there a cost? Absolutely. We got the highest inflation in 40 years. Mortgage rates shot up, rent exploded, groceries felt like luxury items. Your dollar bought less, and you felt it every single week. Okay, so now that you understand inflation, here's what this actually means for your life, practically right now. 1, holding too much cash is actually losing you money. Inflation eats it slowly every single year. That $10,000 sitting in a basic savings account, it's shrinking in real terms. 2, assets beat cash during inflation. Real estate, stocks, commodities, these tend to rise with inflation. That's why the rich get richer during inflationary periods. They own things. You can too, even if it starts small. 3, understand what the Fed does. When they raise rates, they're pumping the brakes on inflation. When they cut, they're stimulating. Every decision they make moves your mortgage, your savings interest, your job market. This stuff is not abstract. It's your life. I started this video thinking printing money was just a dumb idea I had at 2 a.m., but it's actually the question that unlocks how all of modern economics works. If this clicked for you, drop a comment below with one thing you learned. I read every single one. See you there.